welcome aboard the Menorcan Mullet. We are in the St. Simons Sound with the Golden Ray wreck site here behind us with the VB-10,000 over it. Apologize for the wind noise. I'm sure it's going to be noisy. The sound guy took the day off, and we're doing the best we can here today. I want to welcome everyone. Hey, 2,000 subscribers. It's just amazing to me that this interest in this salvage operation has continued to grow, and we want to thank everyone that has subscribed, and we also want to thank those that continue to comment. As this thing has progressed, we've gotten more and more people who are watching it and have a better working knowledge of this type of operation, and their expertise has been lended into the channel, has helped kind of bring a broader understanding to what's going on out here with what we're seeing, and we really appreciate those folks piping in and helping us with kind of understanding what's going on out here. We're going to try to get the stream pulled up here on the top. We see some comments coming in. It's chill. Actually, no, the weather is pretty nice out here today. We had a little bit of a front that's come through, and we had rain earlier in the weekend, but cloudy, but not too terribly bad out here today. We love to see our friends from Scotland. Thanks. It's just, again, amazing that this interest has kind of gone global into what we're doing here today. As we are bringing this to you live, just about a mile here from us, one of the sections of the dry dock is on its way up the channel. It's being brought in by the Elizabeth II, and along with the Caitlin and the Crosby Star. Those tugs are helping with the delivery of this piece up the St. Simons and Brunswick, Port of Brunswick channel. Soon to be approaching, and you guys will get to see that thing as it passes behind us in the foreground. We did a little demonstration while we're out here, and we're going to include that on this evening's video of why we think we're seeing these dry docks come in, and the point that they'll play into it. Looking at the dry dock, it's a wide piece of equipment, and our only thought is this unit too wide to fit between the barges of the VB-10,000, or maybe that's part of the plan, that they're going to lower the thing down into the water, bring the VB out away from the wreck once they have these sections suspended, and then have the VB set them back down gingerly onto the barge and raise it up. We went into that a little bit, and hopefully we'll see how that's going to work. But just from what we know of the construction of the ship, and should I say the lack of structure in it, that's why we think we're seeing these dry docks come in, and how they will play into the salvage operation. Flower Peddler, good to see you. I know you're staying up with everything that's going on here. We're happy to have you on board. We know that you've joined in early in watching this, and kind of, when we originally brought this channel, we were thinking we were just bringing it to local folks. We had you in mind when we started this. Yeah, I think everyone is anxious to see the start of this third cut. If you guys tuned in last night and saw the video from what we did yesterday, we don't see the pump running out here. We assume that had something to do with maybe some jetting operations that they were trying to do to get the chain. The chain is apparently not lining up on the cuts, and Unified Command through the St. Simons Incident Response website, which if you guys haven't checked that out, you guys can do that, and there's some really good information that comes up on that channel. When we originally went to it, we kind of scanned through the articles that were on the front page, but if you dig a little deeper into that, there's a lot of expert type discussion that they've done through videos, that really lends a lot of information to the project, and you can kind of understand what's going on.
I'll do the same thing as people just add usually when see if we can help her get up the river a little bit.
How many more cuts? Well, we've got 2 sections down. There are going to be 7 cuts total. 2 sections down, so we have 5 more cuts to go for this salvage operation to have the ship, the Golden Ray, cut into the sections needed. And as these cuts are progressing, they'll cut through a section. They've been lifting the sections, putting them on a barge, taking them over to the Port of Brunswick, where they are sea fastened. Any loose debris, so we've seen some cars that were hanging out of the things in some pretty dangerous spots. Those pieces have been lowered down to the barge deck and get them ready for their trip back around to the Gulf of Mexico to Gibson, Louisiana, where we understand the processing is taking place over there for the sections of the ship. Is there any good fishing in the Sound? Tim, you bet there is. We love to do it. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we do when we're not out watching ships being dismantled is we tag sharks for the National Shark Tagging Project. In the summertime when the water warms up, it is an excellent place for that kind of activity to take place, and we certainly enjoy doing it. And boy, yeah, you know, we may have the opportunity to bring a couple tug experts on board. I don't know if you guys are reading some of the comments, but Justin Nash is one of those guys that is very knowledgeable in the area of tugging. He's been on the water most of his career, and he kind of lends in and has some really good commentary on what he's seeing out here. He doesn't actually work out on this operation, but again, his expertise in the area has been very beneficial, and we certainly encourage that. Anybody that's out there that's got some knowledge of what's going on out here, we encourage them to comment, because that knowledge is kind of spread through the entire audience, and people can really understand what's going on. What do we have coming to stern? Oh, right here, you guys can see if you have any extra change and you're feeling lucky, this is the Emerald Princess Casino boat that ties up over in Brunswick. They go out for legal reasons out to the 3-mile line where they can conduct gambling operations on board that boat. So it's a gambling ship, and it makes a couple trips out during the weekend, and I think during the weekdays there's a trip. But just another offering here locally for those that like to take their chances. The Emerald Princess. Hey, Santa Cruz, yeah, we're glad to see some folks over from the West Coast, and we hope that you guys are sharing it out there and letting more folks know what's going on. It's a fascinating operation, there's no doubt about it. A lot of moving pieces and parts, and when we say it's a fluid situation, yeah, there's a lot going on, and I know that when things are originally discussed about how they're going to happen, there's so many different variables that go into an operation like this. If you can imagine salvaging a ship, and to see how these guys, these salvers and these responders out here have been able to see a problem and then respond to that problem with an answer and a solution that works has been pretty amazing. Hey, we appreciate, and I got to say, we're really enjoying bringing these videos to you guys. Again, it started out as something that we thought maybe some local folks might really enjoy seeing, but as this thing has progressed and we've seen the global interest that's been generated, we certainly have really responded well, I guess, to that interest, and we hope that you guys are sharing this with other folks and letting them know what's going on over here. It's a fascinating place. It's a lovely place to live. this area of coastal Georgia where this incident happened. And that's what's really unique about this accident when it occurred. It's right in our estuary. When I say it's right in the estuary, we're literally probably, you know, half a mile from this operation, and we're almost up against the bank of the St. Simons Sound here, just getting out of the way for this ship traffic that's coming through. Emerald Prince has just passed by, and just momentarily you're going to see the Elizabeth II begin to come in the frame, pulling this massive dry dock into the Sound, which we think this piece will go on into the Port of Brunswick, where it'll be kind of staged there. This next cut, which will contain the engine, the main propulsion unit for the Golden Ray, there's a barge already in place, and it's been prepped, and it is currently staged at the Port of Brunswick. And once we can get cutting underway and get this piece separated, we'll see that barge come out and receive this section, and then probably go back to the Port of Brunswick for sea fastening and get ready for its trip to the Gulf. Oh yeah, hey, that would be awesome. You know, we get some trawling video from over across the pond, if you will. Part of our background, I was a commercial fisherman here locally for many years on a shrimp trawler. We had a few of those quite a few years ago, and we have a little bit of understanding of what's going on out here, along with some other life experiences that have been pretty awesome, and has given us kind of a unique opportunity, if you will, to try to be able to bring this this whole operation to you guys. Now we'll see when this operation gets started, when they're able to get this chain into position and begin to work that chain back and forth under that intense pressure to get that cut. You can see the Elizabeth II coming in into play now. It you know, last time it took I think it was 9 days for the cut to be complete, and that was with the prep work they did. They did some drilling, they did some perforation holes along the hull, and we've seen that happen again on this section. So we expect that piece of cutting will probably take roughly the same amount of time. You know, originally when they cut the bow section, it was a long process. It took quite a while for that to happen. And locally, when this operation said that they were going to come in and start this, that we would expect a cut to take 24 hours, and it would be really noisy. The noise hadn't been so bad, but the timing was way off. It's taking the guys a while to get these cuts completed, and the preparation work that they've been doing has greatly sped up that process. We can see that dry dock now behind us, being helped in. It's being pulled up. The tug on the main line there is the Elizabeth II, and then we can see the Caitlin on this side of it, and the Crosby Star is on the far side of it. It's wide. The dry dock is really wide. To describe it, it's very wide, but it's not as long as we thought we might see. But it's going to be, it's big enough to hold a section of the ship. We can see that a section of that, the way they've been cutting those pieces of ship, it will fit on that barge. There's no doubt about that. Excuse me, dry dock.
Especially when he's off the ball, it sounds pretty bad.
There's no reason about the ball in it, so we're doing something.
Oh yeah, all right. As this piece goes by, we're trying to shoot a little bit of video of this thing. We're going to try to get some more of that going on here. We may have to catch this. What we may try to do is once it gets around the corner, be able to try to put the drone up, try to get some drone footage. We haven't been successful in our quest to resume flying our drone here at the site. The FAA continues to kind of be rubber-headed about giving me the approvals that we were getting earlier. We know that we got some static from part of the operation. They didn't really like my drone up there, which is funny because as a licensed legal operator, we're trying to fly the drone in a safe and respectful manner. But that hasn't stopped other unmanned aerial systems from flying out to the site in complete violation of law. And those folks that have done that are totally, they can't catch them. But I stopped doing it because I don't want to get in trouble with the FAA. And probably missed some good stuff on that video. You can really see in this shot as the what's going on behind us over here, the width of that dry dock. She is pretty wide, maybe as long as it is wide. It's we haven't been able to find any numbers or names or anything like that on that piece to try to bring you guys some specs on it. But hopefully the folks over at Unified Command, which we know those guys kind of keep on top of what we're doing. Maybe they have some specs that they'll share with us. Last night, I did receive my email notification where they were talking about the dry docks coming in and some of the problems that they were having with getting the chain aligned into the cutting area from underneath the Golden Ray. And then maybe that's why we have seen that ship kind of, the VB kind of pushed back, like maybe they're trying to pull that chain with the VB under tension into that slot to get it lined up where they can start sawing and cutting on that thing. Any virus issues with the crew? Not that we've been aware of lately. There were some problems they had earlier. The guys that are actually confined to the work on the rig itself, now they're in a bubble and they're staying on what is the Methodist Center. They have rented out the entire Methodist Center on St. Simons, and it's right on the river, so they brought a barge in. They have access right off the river. It's completely self-sustained. It's more or less like a small college campus, and those guys are the salvors that are working on the rig and on the ship itself are staying over there at the Methodist Center in a bubble. And now the rest of the surface boats and the things you see moving around, the environmental crews are not, and those guys are into the community and rented houses, hotels, motels. But the crew itself, they've done a pretty good job of being able to mitigate virus threats. I think they've had a couple issues, but they've taken care of those. And as things are going now, we haven't had any reports that the operation has suffered from any virus infections. Wow, who's paying for this operation? Well, that is up to the insuring agent for the ship's owner, which as a Hyundai Glovis ship, Hyundai owns the ship, and from what I understand, the group that makes up the global shipping part of that insurance operation underwrote the policy. So I guess you could say Lloyd's of London that group of folks that make up that part of global shipping insurance, for that collective group, yeah, they're the ones that are I guess getting the bill for all this. And there's so many moving pieces and parts. And we had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Chris Graff. He is the incident commander for the operation out here, and he represents the interested party, the insurance group and the ship owner. And just talking with him, he's got over 400 subcontractors that are involved with this ship removal. So it's a massive operation with many moving pieces and parts, and constantly being evaluated, I guess, for improvement. I guess they're constantly looking at things. This process is evolving. It's never been done with a rig like this, and so there are a lot of unknowns, and trying to get that done in kind of a efficient manner, I think has had its own challenges, but I think they're doing well. They seem to be managing the operation well. You know, we've had some trouble. We documented it here on the channel with some things that we saw that kind of upset us, and I think that they moved pretty quick in taking care of those problems. I think they're responsive to the and they understand the community's concern for the operation, and they are doing a very good job of keeping everything as good as done as cleanly as they can do. Are there going to be problems? Yes, there are. Have there been problems? Sure have. But I think they've done a good job of mitigating those, and the part of that's really impressive to me is the problems that they've seen. They put procedures into place to take care of those issues in the future. So it's an evolving situation, and these guys are doing a heck of a job getting this thing out of here. We just wish that we could see this third section, see that chain start moving on this third section and start cutting this. Every day that the ship sits here, opened up like it is another day that the potential for a problem. The tides here wash in and out twice a day, and it's a pretty substantial tide. We'll have 7 to 9 foot of difference between a low tide and a high tide, and it's a lot of water moving in and out of the estuary and moving in and out through the hull of the Golden Ray. Well, I think that's about all we've got from here. We're going to try to take the boat over. We want to try to put the drone up and get a little shot, some video for this evening's broadcast of the dry dock. So we're going to try to take care of that now. Thanks for joining us here. If we missed anything you guys want to include, you know, the comments are always open. Hit them up on that, and we constantly read those and try to get back to the folks as quick as we can. One other thing, you know, hey, we want you guys to stay safe out there, and we want these guys out here to stay safe. That's our biggest concern too. We want to see this thing done safely. A lot of weight, a lot of, as you can imagine, moving pieces and parts out here, and we certainly hope for the safety of everybody that's involved. Okay, thanks for being there, and we'll talk to you guys as this thing continues to unfold.